Raf, Ngindo, Congo promo, Raf, Kubomola, Sege, Webi Rafko, Ngindo, check.
Oza site moko Gaillard bato to basepela nango Congo promo en tout cas bosala musala kitoko boss Raf Ngindo en tout cas na passivement bambote
Raf Ngindo le présentateur la force créative Congo promo Congo Borotosa la force militaire na Congo promo.
Et faites comme moi, allez voir Congo promo tv5.com.
Donc au nom de Jésus-Christ nous bénissons le Congo promo.
Avec Raf Ngindo, Congo promo ne tombera jamais.
Bigolo Congo promo nde.
Ouais, balobi Raf Ngindo. Congo promo toujours, grande puissance. Come on.
Congo promo qui torcos net na film. Congo promo babunda na nango.
Raf Ngindo. Congo promo. What a plus, what a boss là.
GPX, bien plus qu'une agence. Sécurité, pena confiance au topesa bango. Ça fait 9 ans tozakak topika bendele. Papa, azana yekaka papa. Balula, bukamata. Nyonso eza na kati. Oyo ezali GPX, agence moko na kati ya Londres mobimba. Lumi kosana te. Tata akutika na tata.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Blaise Mukenge. I'm online live from Kinshasa via video Skype. Mr. Michel Bofwa is a member of a UDA party and the group of opposition called the Rassemblements. He's going to introduce himself because we go further with our questioning concerning about the situation right now in the Congo. Mr. Michel, welcome to Live from USA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mukenge Bless. It's an opportunity and a pleasure for me to be hosted in your show from Houston, Texas. This is a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, talk us a little bit about your political party, the UDA.
Thank you very much. The UDA is an opposition party in DS Congo. It's a party launched since 2014 during a violent opposition actions launched by UDPS and by the Rassemblement, which is a gathering of many different opposition parties in the country, Kabila's regime. That's what we are.
I understand also you have platforms apart from the UDPS that came on its own. Among you have the platform of the Alliance of Tshisekedi. You also have, I believe, the dynamic of opposition that you belong to.
Yes, of course. Let me explain how the Rassemblement is made up. It's made up by many different platforms that are inside, that have inside many different parties and platforms, such like dynamics, opposition dynamics, like Tshisekedi Alliance, like many other platforms. So it's here the way and the time to explain that Rassemblement started last year with the late Tshisekedi president, UDPS President Tshisekedi in Belgium last year, because the focus that time was to fight all the impediment that Mr. Kabila and the ruling parties and the ruling majority was setting on the way to elections. That's why it was time for all the parties to come together as one for fighting, this increasing and growing dictatorial regime in the central of Africa.
Question show now. We talk about the electoral commission that we call in the Congo Seni. We understand the Mr. Nanga yesterday from France. He made a declaration saying that election have to be postponed for some time next year. It's not going to be possible to organize any election this year. What the official position of your party to Mr. Nanga's statement?
Fir- First of all, Mr. Blaise, let me to tell you that you know the eagerness to stay in power is driving Mr. Kabila and all his people to madness. It's fresh madness. How can you understand that this time, as the president of the electoral committee, can stay, can make such statements that is growing in impotent discontent all over the country? So how can he say that the election will not take place at the end of the year when we know exactly that after the agreement that has been signed after the political talk, which took place at the Catholic bishop's place, it was clearly put in that agreement, in that document, that the election should take place at the end of 2017. And it's only Mr. Kabila and his government and all his allies that are trying to postpone again, to dismay again the whole nation, the whole Congolese people in not organizing that election. But let me tell you that if this election this time won't take place, the country shall not be governable and will not have control over anything all over the country. And that's what will happen.
But Mr. Michel, before we go to chaos, because I understand that will be taking people to the streets over a number of riots that you are planning to organize, don't you think that it's actually pragmatic to postpone them, since the Kasai province hadn't been enrolled in the election, and it had to take some time before the Kasai get enrolled and before the all electoral roll is well organized for us to avoid election rigging?
Everything has been well planned, with partly opposition parties sent some delegates to the panel that came to to study how to implement the elections process from the beginning up to the end. And it was clearly and rationally planned and said publicly that putting everything together, the election has to take place at the end. Even though that in Kasai we had all those atrocities, and which was almost a war, where we have 1.3 million people that has been displaced, and people has been killed. Many of them, put in the mass graves in the central of Kasai. We know the situations, but we are talking about the election at the end of the year. We are not talking. We are in July. We are in July now, and if we are serious and eager to have proper elections, clear election, independent election, and we just have to put everything in place right now, and to call the collaboration of all the parts that should be involved in this process, and it's still possible, because Kasai might be affected by all these past violences. But I can tell you that 1 month is enough to involve all the population of this part of the country, if just the political willingness is being clearly shown. But if not, we can at least accept that this agenda can be pushed, it can be postponed, but not talking about the next year or the end of next year. It's not rational.
Okay, let's say everything established, the playing field has been leveled for free and fair election. Will Durasop today support Mr. Katumbi as the president? That's what we seem to hear from all corners of the world. People seem to say that the Rassemblement candidate for the election is Mr. Moise Katumbi. What do you have to say about this?
No, that is not true. That also needs to be addressed clearly when we talk about the Rasop or when we talk about Mr. Katumbi as the candidate. Mr. Katumbi has been last year, since last year, he declared clearly and publicly, it's not a secret that his candidate, he will run for presidency this year. But the Rasop is the gathering, it's a gathering of many parties fighting, to have the constitution respected and to have the elections at the right time. But Mr. Katumbi is not the candidate of the Rasov. He's the candidate of the AR, what we call the AR, which means the Alliance for renewing politics, something like that. Yes, but he is not. For the moment, Mr. Katumbi is just an ally who's by the side, along with the Rasov, fighting to have first elections. And after when the election will be, that fight will be won, then we can talk about candidates and we can now go to a conference to talk deeply about which candidate to have. That's what we're doing right now.
Okay, is your political party going to have a candidate for the presidency, or are you going to support Mr. Martin Fayulu of the Dynamic Opposition, the platform that will you belong first before you are the member of the RASOP?
Now, for the moment, at the UDA, we are expecting to hold our extraordinary congress, which is an organ, which is a high organ that shows who shall be the candidate to run for the president. But this decision right now, so far, the decision has not been taken yet.
Okay, I have one question about the question of nationality that Mr. Ntamwe Mamba, Minister of Justice, did raise when he was in France here about Mr. Katumbi being Italian. With the question of nationality, Stambis well discussed in the Congo, are you going to set up the criteria of participating in Congolese election by only Congolese national as the constitution defined them?
Yeah, but why the Minister of Justice has just raised the issue of Mr. Katumbi's citizenship right now when he's abroad? Why he didn't address that issue when Mr. Katumbi was the governor of the richest province of Qatar? Or why the president of the country has appointed someone who's known, which we know clearly, and they knew it. If it is so, and they were supposed to know that Mr. Katumbi was the Congolese, the right Congolese. So it's a dilatory maneuver for the regime, to stop just Mr. Katumbi to carry out his ambition to become a president. And at the RASOP or at the UDA, we support Mr. Katumbi in this fight. And because beside this one, he has got so many different, a fight with the government, and the government is trying to put bananas on his way for him to not achieve what he's trying to achieve. But Congo is a non-country. It's a non-state because it's the state itself trying to prevent people, free people to use their civil rights. Understand? Their civil rights. And Mr. Tambo Maba, as a Minister of Justice, should have come and act to be Mr. Katumbi had been appointed governor of that province. As he didn't do so, neither Kabila, so we will not take heed of it.
Okay, now the UDA, once you're elected in power, how are you going to solve the question of double nationality? Because you understand there's a lot of Congolese, because of economic reason and political reason, they find themselves in countries where they acquire a second nationality. How is the UDA going to solve that problem?
Mr. Blaise, let me tell you first that it's not the first time that double citizenship issue has been raised in the political arena Congo. It has been first when Mrs. Kamere was the president of the parliament, was to suspend or to stop first, the implementation of that constitutional disposition, because it's in the constitution that any Congolese should have only one and not dual citizenship. It's our law. But the lawmakers themselves, during the time of Kamera as the president of the parliament, decided to hold on it. To hold on it, why? In the aim to have everybody to put in order his papers, to put in order his citizenship, to know which country he belongs. That's what we're doing. Tomorrow I'll tell you that the president Kabila, months ago, he appointed the prime minister who was from Belgium. Was from Belgium. He was a bearer of a Belgian passport. And just it's mentioned earlier on, Mr. Tambo Mwamba was still the Minister of Justice, who pressed him, he urged him to step down and to abandon his Belgian citizenship for him to stay only a Congolese. So that's why I'm telling you it's a real issue in the country, because the half of Congolese politicians are foreigners. Can you imagine? Half of Congolese politicians operating in the political arena are foreigners. So it's a hot issue. So it's a constitutional blunder. And how are we going to approach this issue? For me and for the UDA, we have to sort out the issue globally. We have to have a global approach to this issue, not only through a specific question that will not solve the global problem of the country right now. That's our approach towards this issue.
Okay, are you the political party in the Congo? You've been lobbying for sanction against the regime of Kabila, and the West went indeed and gave some targeted sanction among some of cabinet members. Don't you feel that is kind of hurting the government? Because right now, when they're saying the government is broke, they're trying to raise funds to rescue the country. So how do you see that economics prospect going on from now?
Talking about the sanctions against the political leaders, at the UDA we are even now lobbying that those sanctions should be intensified even over the president himself and over all his relatives and his closest range, so that it may have effect not only economically but politically, socially. We are already feeling the affection. We are affected socially right now, which is now putting down our economy, because, as you know, Congo has got an extravagant economy. And if such economic sanctions and political are coming, are striking, are eating the leaders at the prominent position, it will affect the whole country. It's affecting us. The economy is doing very bad. And now, let me tell you, $1 today is 1,700 francs Congolais.
Yes.
Which is a catastrophic situation, and which is it's deadly. If you know this country, and we don't even the GDP. Recently, the Minister of Finance has been in France and in the US to ask for some money to the International Monetary Fund, and the answer they gave him was that Congo has not more than a normal economy.
we're trying to get Mr. Michel back on the line to see if we can have him again because of some technical issues. So we are unable to conclude this interview with Mr. Michel. But this is a promise for next time. So we meet next time.